being,
Well timed. That was very good.
Can you tip the screen so we show it better? Oh, it's supposed to just, yeah. Yeah, it's good. We just showed the ceiling.
Okay, this is a meeting of the Public Access Cable Committee in Lunenburg, Massachusetts. It's a hybrid meeting, so we have the option for joining by Zoom. One of our committee members who's presently not able to travel will be trying to join us, we understand, and any members of the public are welcome to join by Zoom. This implies that we have to do any votes by roll call. I'm not sure there's anything. If there's public comment, it can come from people who are here or people who are via Zoom. So I will do, we are well up to 5. I will do a roll call. So Pete, are you here?
I am here.
Faith, I am not seeing at this point. Steve?
Present.
And me, Steve, also not present. We will, when we do communications, talk about the situation with Jeff, who is not present to my knowledge at this point. So that was the roll call. Do we have any public comments? No members of the public being present or on Zoom? I will move on to, do we have any committee comments?
Just a question, has Jeff formally resigned?
I'll talk about that in communications, but it's a problem, so we have to deal with that. But I have emails going back and forth to help us work it out. Any other committee comments? Do I have any?
Oh, I do. I have a comment.
Congratulations.
How's that? We are missing the February minutes because we didn't meet in February.
Oh, that's not right, is it?
Yeah, we remember we delayed it to March so that you could go to the Pacios meeting.
Oh,
But I've been trying to find the February minutes and it's like, wait, and then I looked at the calendar and it says we didn't meet in February.
okay.
So I just wanted to,
So is your comment that we probably shouldn't review the minutes?
for February, yeah.
I like it.
So we have fun.
If we're not having fun, why show up, guys? Come on.
That's why like everybody tunes in this, yes.
So on the, if everyone is okay, I would like to move communications to the next one. Because I have a bunch of.
Well, we do have to approve the April minutes.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I won't miss anything out. I just.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
It relates to what we're just
Okay,
talking about. So if I can
so
find
we're
it,
gonna go to communications.
we are indeed. In which I have two things of consequence. Apologies. And again.
let's even put a key.
Okay, so here we have some emails that have gone back and forth. I was asked by the committee to email Jeff to thank him for his service and tell him what the process was to resign. So I sent one to him that said, "Hi Jeff, sorry to hear that, but I understand you have other commitments. The procedure is to send a letter. I think email is fine. I assume it is now. To the select board via Elaine Peterson, put the address in, and to me as chair of Pacc. The select board is the body that needs to accept your resignation, right? As far as my understanding. We appreciate the work you did and the time you were able to volunteer over the past few years. Thanks, Steve. Silence is his response to me. I've had nothing from him, and I checked the agenda for the Board of Selectmen tomorrow, and they have a list of appointments and things like that, and he's not in that. So I sent another one on the 29th, the end of last month, said, Jeff, I wonder if you could send me your letter of resignation before next Monday. Would be a great help to the committee. And again, the committee thanks you for your work. I'm being diplomatic and gentle because we have a potential problem here. So the wording that Jeff used was, what is the proper protocol for stepping away from the committee? He didn't use the word resign. So I'm open for suggestions as how to handle this, because I would like to achieve two things. One is release Jeff from the committee in an orderly and kindly manner. And as a consequence, see if we can find anyone in the committee who might take on the secretary duty. Yes, I know. But so I'm open to suggestions. I would suggest that we send a letter with copies of this to the select board, because I don't know another way. Anyone have any other suggestions?
Would that be the personnel director?
Because to the select board.
No, but would the personnel director know what to do?
Goes to Elaine. Everything goes to Elaine.
Oh, for the select board, yes. She's.
No, but I'm just
I was
wondering if
up
the
there.
personnel director would understand the
Oh, a
difference
process?
between.
I
the
don't
process.
know.
Well,
Really
first
would
of all,
help.
he's missed 3 unexcused absences since suspended.
Well, sadly, not a criticism. It was, for instance, the April minute says excuse Jeff Baker, not unexcused absence. So that's.
I always put people as excused.
Yeah,
He was excused from the
February one.
the February one, no, the January one, whenever he wrote the letter.
Yeah,
Is that the letter?
the date on the letter
original?
was April the 3rd.
So he was excused because he had asked to step away.
Okay. Well,
He had missed.
That's semantics.
I'm just concerned that we do this carefully.
I agree.
You know, I mean, both for him and for us as a committee.
So you've emailed him and he hasn't answered
I've
that?
emailed him twice, once to tell him the process and once to ask him if he'd mind executing the process in time for us to meet tonight.
Right.
I can send this to the Board of Selectmen via Elaine with a note from the committee that says, you know, he really has to, his resignation has to be accepted as a result of these emails. You know, kind of put it in phrasing that they're okay with it. And
As of Wednesday, they had not received anything from him. We have 5 vacancies. in the Council on Aging.
yeah,
So I was up there trying to deal with.
oh,
trying to-
really?
You know, as we did,
Yes.
Steve, a 2-year term, we're
Mhm.
trying to do the same thing. with
Oh,
that.
to get it
And I
rebalanced.
saw
Yeah.
that Paul Serapis had filled out the talent bank.
Yes,
I
I
asked
heard
him
that.
to, and had received anything from Jeff, and she said they had not. Okay, that was as of last Wednesday.
Faith, how are you doing?
Oh, Faith.
You're very, very quiet. You have to press the magic button.
I'm in a car.
I hope you're not
Oh.
driving.
I'm not driving though, no.
I appreciate that. Stay safe.
Springsteen song, wasn't it?
Ah, my husband's eye appointment took a little longer than we expected, sorry.
Okay,
Not a problem.
anyway, you're officially and
On the road.
received
That's
as
cool.
being present, and I
Might be
appreciate it.
first.
Right now, we're talking about how to deal with the situation of Jeff wanting to resign but not responding to emails. So should I do what we're talking about, send these with a note from the committee
Have you
saying,
tried giving him a call?
I don't have a phone number for him.
Do you have a phone number? Do you have a Jeff phone number? He's
Like,
called you to ask you to open the door.
If he did, then yeah, I do.
I'm not sure, you know, I understand that's quite a nice way of doing it rather than getting it in paper.
Well,
Sort
but
of
just
kind of
to
wanted
give him,
him
I mean, he might not,
one last chance, as it were.
yeah. In good faith, I mean, he has been an outstanding member.
Oh, it has been for some
years.
years, yeah.
So to me, it would be a courtesy, just maybe there's something going on.
That's
you know what I
possible.
mean, in a quick phone call, and you can just say, not a
Yep,
problem.
I have
just
it.
Do you want to,
And you,
I don't know if you want to say that out loud or
Yeah,
oh,
it's a personal phone.
And the
number.
number to call
I was
is,
thinking about that. God, somebody's keeping me on the straight and narrow. This is not my
Well,
you just want to be the vote.
world. No, I have fun with the machine we have down there.
What's
there you
that?
go.
What's that machine?
The new 3 CPU. The one we're going to use for the town meeting.
So I would
Okay.
suggest
So
giving
the
a
number
courtesy
is-
phone call. Give a courtesy phone call,
Okay,
and if you don't get a response there, then I would say, then send your information to the select board and say, and then you can say, I've tried to email, I tried to call,
gotcha.
and he hasn't answered back, but we're inferring from this email that he wants to step away, which
Mhm.
means to resign.
Right, I assume that this isn't the first time such a situation has occurred.
I'm sure there's
Absolutely not.
lots of
So
things.
people just vanish. Ghosting, is that what it's called?
And at least twice in 15 years of my council, people get mad and just walk out and say, see you.
Oh, really?
Well, these other people, what happened to you?
Are you the chair of that group?
What? They just walk out.
So I will try calling him. If I can't get him to send the emails that are necessary, then I will send them with a note saying we discussed that this evening to the select board. Okay. Then the question arising from this, I love that Steve makes all these notes and gets them out. What's annoying is he gets them out so promptly, I can't find them right before the meeting. I'm
And
just kidding.
I sent them again
No, you
I
did.
printed them out.
at the beginning of the week
Day you sent them out. I-
Yeah,
with the agenda.
I printed it, put it on my desk ready.
In a related question.
Oh, okay.
Whose terms are up this year?
This year, I don't know. I think
Because we
mine's
have to, at
next
this
year.
meeting, send our suggestions, I guess is the way to do it, to the select board.
We have never done that during my tenure.
Broken all the rules.
Oh, I'm confident I have.
That was-
The-
The original procedure back originally was that a new member, a member's term was up.
Yeah,
The board asked that member if he wanted to run for another term,
yes.
and then we would vote on it.
Mhm. We
And
being
the board,
the board.
the rest of the board,
Yeah.
and all of us would approve.
Mhm.
And then send that note to the select board that this
Yeah.
person has been approved. And they, when they get there, as we've done, you have to write another letter to them, and then they interview you. But it helps if they have our support.
Okay, when I was interviewed, it worked the other way around, as far as I understood it, but the committee didn't exist when I was interviewed. And I have not been re-interviewed. I was only interviewed when I came up. So the
Was
process,
I-
Whose terms are up this year?
I thought mine was 24, I wouldn't swear to it.
We should
They
have a
may have
sheet that says.
changed it.
when-
Yeah, I don't.
We should have that.
But the way it has been done during my tenure, not that I was controlling anything, was that at the first meeting of the financial year, and you were here for this previous one, that's when you became vice chair. We re-elect within the committee the various positions. But Otherwise, I mean.
Weren't,
Well, okay.
weren't
last-
I reinstated and given a 2-year term? I wasn't.
Were you re-interviewed?
No.
We didn't do anything.
It's supposed to be.
No, well, I'm just saying what's
I don't
actually
remember.
I
happening.
think it was Faith and I had 3-year terms and you had a 2-year term.
That's what we agreed to.
Yes, we agreed to, and they accepted that.
Mhm.
And we just did the same thing in the senior center because we had 5 people up at the
Yeah,
same time to even it out. So
I mean,
they
I think
gave
we
it
told
2
the
years.
select board.
But you didn't re-interview.
I wasn't re-interviewed.
And they didn't reappoint
And
you
they
in that
didn't.
sense? Well, they did.
Well,
Yes, they did.
did. They reappointed.
But you didn't have to show.
I didn't have to show.
Okay.
And they didn't ask you to.
Are they asking the Council of Aging people?
Always.
Oh.
I've had it's 6.
Were you interviewed again when you?
I will be in July. Like I said, I've been interviewed 6 times,
No, in this committee.
just once.
But
Everyone's been on
you're
it.
still in your first term.
Yes. This is my 3rd year.
Maybe mine was weird because I went from a 3-year to a 2-year.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know why they could do anything different with this committee, because you hear the listening every single
Well, then,
time.
if you would like to stay in the committee, we'd send your name to the select board, and then it's up to them to contact you to,
Oh, yes, sign up on.
or sign off on it. It's their choice. I would
As
think
I
it's
say,
their choice.
I've been on since 2014. And I've
And
been
you just
interviewed
assume
once.
you just keep, the terms just keep.
No,
rolling
no,
over.
I get a note from the town clerk's office, I believe.
Yeah.
Saying that I'm up for it again.
You don't have to
No.
fill out a form.
No, I don't have to fill out a form, but I had to say, it was only verbal as I recall. That yes, I would do another term.
And they didn't talk about it at a select board meeting.
Then I believe it went to a select board meeting with a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Where it was rubber stamped, which is, I think the way a lot of these were. All I got was a note from Elaine saying I was re-elected to the committee. I have to go and swear at the town clerk.
Yes.
So I went and swore at her.
Great.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying what the process is.
I
I've
just
been
think
through.
it's, I don't know if this committee is different.
Well,
Oh,
maybe
it
the
is
council
very
aging
different.
is different, it could be either.
I'm not involved in it as well, so.
Okay.
A lot of pages in the bylaws. This committee operates very interestingly. It's got the largest section in the bylaws of any other
This one?
committee. Most of the other committees have 1, maybe 2 paragraphs. in the
Council
bylaws.
Page has 3 sentences.
Right, this committee has 3 pages.
Presume that's because of the trouble this committee had some years ago.
Mhm.
Before my time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if this committee has,
We're a strange committee, is that what you're trying
it
to
has
say?
some interesting guidelines.
Excellent choice of words.
But there should be a listing of the members and the year their term
Yeah.
expires. So.
So yours is expiring.
No, I just was reelected this last year.
You're just elected, not re-elected.
Elected,
So you have 2.5
Well,
more years.
yes.
And
And you have 1.5 more
I
years.
have 1.5.
And
I have
Faith
no
has
idea
2.5
what
more.
I've got.
So it would be either you or Jeff on this next year.
Well,
Maybe
and if
both
Jeff's
of
not
us.
returning, then that person will get a
You
3-year.
say- you mean next financial year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm up, I'll get a note from Elaine or town clerk.
Well, doesn't
just-
seem they've been doing that with this committee. That's why I asked you.
Yeah, can't help you, I'm afraid. All I can tell you is what I've been through. Not a politician.
I mean, they read
I have a lot of
every
fun with
meeting,
electronics.
every select board meeting, they read, these are the vacancies.
Mhm.
And we need to fill these vacancies.
Yeah.
Is there ever a vacancy for this board?
Yeah.
Listed.
Yeah.
That they'd rather be here.
I presume so, because that's how you came in, Steve came in.
You know. Yep. Go ahead, keep talking. I
No,
think
I
they
see
put,
what you can
you
do.
know what? I should have brought it. I brought the bylaws. The
Oh.
bylaws actually talk about how to,
Are they town
The
bylaws or
yeah.
town
the
bylaws,
vacancy,
other vacancies?
Yeah. does talk about vacancies, how the process.
This committee, I was on the committee the first time.
Yeah, right.
And at one point, there were 9 members. Yeah. That somehow dwindled down to 2, which turned out to be town partial.
There was,
And
there
from
were
that
more than 2. There were more
Should-
than 2 people.
Should
There
have
was,
been a quorum. yeah.
there was the chairman and
It
2,
was Lance and Fred. That
2,
was it.
Rhonda was still on it at
Rhonda.
that time.
Well, she was never
Licio.
went through the grill, public execution.
So it's 3 or 4, but it was very dysfunctional, so. Yeah,
At one point, when we met in the library all the time, there were 9 people, including 2 students there.
Yeah,
And one of the selectmen, Mr. Mason, who was charged with building the committee. And he asked the 2 school teachers, retired school teachers, who had worked with film
Mm-hmm.
be on the committee. And then 2 kids, and then the teacher, she's gonna with that. And somehow Lance May got involved in it. I don't know how Fred got involved in it. And Debbie was on. She was their secretary.
Oh,
So there were 9 people, and then it just seemed to dwindle down.
I don't think it was dwindling as much as it was reformatted with 5. Because they went through all the whole bylaw thing to recreate it before. So there was a gap.
Set it at 5, that was
That was
established.
my understanding.
Is that in notes somewhere?
It should, well, Steve's the bylaw person. Wouldn't have been the committee that did that, it would have been the bylaws or the select board. But I'm not sure we can resolve this. In fact, I'm not even sure we're the right people to resolve it.
Members appointed by the Lunenburg Board of Selectmen shall resign in writing to the Board of Selectmen and Pacc. So that's
Yes,
the
I'll
the
put
whole
that
doc.
bit right.
Yes, that's right.
Vacancies shall be filled by the Board of Selectmen.
That's it.
Well, we're changing it at the town meeting. This is what's online.
Oh,
Changing the what?
Basically, it's the same thing, but it makes more sense. It puts the Pacc people, it puts the committee people in first before the select. According to this, the Board of Selectmen can just say, Joe, come here, you're on the Pacc committee.
Well, that's what happened with the conservation committee problem.
Right, but we've changed, I can't remember it, I don't have that on my. I didn't bring that document, so that's why I was looking at what was actually published. So this is under Pacc, vacancies shall be filled by the Board of Selectmen. This is under Pacc.
in that case, that's what we,
So we don't have to do anything, just. go on
Well,
the town plan.
until we've got,
We have to have an official resignation
yes,
first.
until that's been managed to its conclusion, we can't do anything.
Right.
So I think in that case.
But unless I'm wrong, I think his term would have ended this year. Either his
I
or yours,
don't know, maybe
because
both
at
of
that
us.
point they would automatically.
I don't have that information.
I don't have that.
So you should have a slip that says members and.
You know who probably has that information? The secretary.
You know, town hall would have that.
Probably.
They usually
Um,
keep pretty close track of that.
Would it be Kathy Herrick?
She's the
Probably
town clerk.
Elaine.
Elaine.
Elaine has-
So,
she's-
Pete, would you contact Elaine and ask
Sure,
her
let's
if
do tomorrow.
Jeff's thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you do that? And then you can shoot Steve an email so that you'll know, because if his term is up.
Well, I'm trying to get the position filled.
Right.
I'm also desperately trying to have you be thrilled that you're going to be the secretary.
I'm acting secretary, that's not going to change.
I understand that.
Um,
Okay, would you do
Now-
that then?
I know that she has, I doubt it anyway, because he had plenty of notice. I asked her directly, had he resigned,
Mm.
she received it, she hasn't. Now, what do I say to her? He has.
No, just when is his term of service up?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
3 years,
Just-
that's it,
just-
because that,
Just let me know, because that'll help.
I like
me
to
have
know
a
all the
conversation.
service.
yeah, you want to know when everyone, so
Yes,
ask when
yeah.
everyone.
We should have a slip.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
And that's perfect, and then we'll have a better understanding.
And then if he doesn't pass anything, his term is up,
Mhm.
that's a moot point.
It could well be. I was trying to do it sooner, but yes. It's the sooner we have an official vacancy, the sooner we
Right.
fill it. So I was just trying to move things along
You're doing a
without
good
using the
job.
word schedule. which I was quite impressed with.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And he gets scheduled.
You see.
Council of Aging has 3 paragraphs. 12.4, 12.5, and 12.6. Just so-
So
Present.
before I do any of this, you're going to get
It's pretty exhaustive, isn't it?
terms.
You want to know if you're exhausted, you should read the planning board bylaws. It's like 52 pages. Wastewater. Stormwater,
Okay.
no, I'm sorry,
Are we
stormwater.
okay to
There's the.
moving right along on communications still?
Okay,
I had a communication from the town, an official communication, which was sent to my home address, which is this thing.
okay, yeah.
So I looked in it, being bored, and discovered that our budget, which as we know is 211,000 approximately, is listed in here as $163,576. So I sent an email to one Heather person who got back very promptly. She's good at that. Saying, where did the rest of our money go to? So, and I got one back from her very quickly. Says the difference is the amount of the indirect costs. So what they have done, they've taken the budget that we spent time putting together with input from Karen Rochu, is that how you pronounce
Yes.
it? I presented at the finance committee. At that committee meeting, I asked them to make sure I knew before the town meeting if any of the numbers got changed, as I didn't want to be surprised, which I have been every time when they put the motion up. This time the list is in here. The motion doesn't have numbers in it, but the list is in here. Apparently, the indirect costs have been taken out and put into what you call the omnibus budget. So it says, Steve, the difference is the amount of the indirect costs.
Omnibus budget.
Are we buying a bus?
Apparently.
No, it's a,
Yeah, an omni bus.
Right. So that amount will be transferred under the financial year 23 omnibus budget article.
That didn't happen last year.
I know, this is, you're beginning to understand why I get driven totally and absolutely nuts here. There are a couple of things here. One is, if we're lucky, because of the way they've done this, that's not in our budget. It doesn't come out of our monies. It comes out of the omnibus budget. It comes out of the town monies, which is the way it used to be. We didn't used to have the indirect costs in our budget, which saves us $47,948 approximately. I can't believe that's the case. What I have done though, and this is where I would like, there are two things that can potentially happen. One is the Pacc budget is put into, I've forgotten the term they use for it, where they consolidate a number of warrant articles
Oh,
together.
a consent calendar.
Consent calendar, there you go. Which is what happened to us last year, and also
Right.
the special meeting.
Mhm.
Put us in there, and then it's all voted on unless some lunatic sitting in the audience coughs a little too loudly and gets kicked out. So I have to have with me a presentation ready in case we're not in that. I haven't been told we are in it. Nobody has any other information?
I know there's 13 articles in the consent calendar, and there's a total of, I believe, over 30 articles
No, exactly that.
or 30-ish. Yeah.
But anyway, we're Article 16. That doesn't tell me whether we're in
Doesn't.
it. I didn't know last year. My concern is if the way this is presented, nobody sitting on the floor of the town meeting can understand what our real budget is. It just doesn't show up this way. So what I wanted to do, actually, do it upside down, which is kind of fun. This is the slide that's already approved to go in, which is the summary budget, which is the only one that really matters in terms of town meeting and people being able to understand it. And we had the salaries, we had the indirect costs, and that total. We added the operations to it, and that was the number that I was really trying to make sure stayed under our income. We've been doing that for a long time. What I want to do is reformat it so that at the very end, the number is still going to be the same. There's 211,000, but the indirect costs are actually put in right down at the end, not in the early part. But officially, I'm not allowed to change a slide that I'm going to put up in front of the town meeting without the committee being delighted with it, or at least approving. Am I making sense?
Mhm.
Really? Sure.
May I,
Good Lord.
The
My-
indirect cost, does that include our rent for this building and
It's healthcare and benefits primarily.
salaries?
No, not salaries. Healthcare and benefits.
Oh,
And that number's high because the worst case benefits for a part-time production technician are calculated at the worst possible case, which is him and all his legal wives and children being on a medical plan. So if somebody comes in who's single,
okay,
that's a change, but that's the way it's budgeted. So
okay.
so
Thank you for the clarification.
you're welcome. Speak up if you need any.
my interpretation of this, of what you just said, and if I'm, share with me if I'm correct. It seems that the number that they have down in the article for budgeted is minus the indirect costs.
Exactly, to the dollar.
Okay,
Thank
So-
you.
it really doesn't affect us because whether it comes directly out of our accounts or they put it in the omnibus first.
But I don't know if the
You got it?
omnibus budget is.
Yep, thank you.
Say, this line item comes from the Pacc fund.
Well, I'm assuming that Karen, because she does it at the beginning of the year, I'm assuming she,
Well, no, I'm talking more about what's presented at the town meeting.
oh, okay.
So I can't tell because that's the colored sheet of paper they give you when you walk in, right?
Mhm.
So we don't get that until the very last minute. Well, all I'm just being defensive because I'm frustrated is I want to have both these slides in the presentation ready. So that at the end of the day, if I have to stand up and say what our budget really is, I want to be able to say what our budget really is. Not
Okay.
something that looks way better, that's only 163,
So
which is well under 200.
I'll make the motion to include the,
Have it available.
I'll make a motion to have available the budget, extra budget information.
Thank you.
Second.
Any further discussion? Then by roll call, Pete,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
and me also, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm just doing CYA stuff.
No problem.
Yeah, I love doing this. So. Get to the right sheet of paper here.
One day. we can record. Oh, wow, that's swimming.
Do we need to put something in the minutes saying that there was no February meeting? Just so
When we
this
talk about the
document-
minutes, because we have talked about,
Okay,
when we do the minutes, then we'll officially say there was no meeting.
I just wanted to make sure it was written down.
I think what happened is between Jeff missing a meeting and so I went to look to see if I had
Yeah,
sent him notes and I haven't, so. Should you want to do minutes now or?
if that's the next thing on the agenda, sure, so it's like I'll find the agenda. Anyone have the agenda? in front of them? Oh, yeah. Right. So what do we have? We moved communications up there, did review and approve meeting minutes. Fourth bullet. So I will give the floor to you for a moment if you would
All right,
like.
so
especially,
SA. At our last meeting, we were looking for the February minutes and we didn't meet in February, so there are no February minutes. We met in January and then in April,
March.
or March. Yeah.
I believe what happens
So
is
you
we
want to
kept,
reword that, say February minutes didn't exist, instead of table?
No, it'll be corrected in these new minutes,
right,
you know,
yeah, because
we tabled it, and so with this one,
Right,
February
that's-
minutes,
that's
no
what we
meeting in
actually did,
February,
was table it.
therefore no minutes. So we've acted on the table February minutes.
okay. Yes.
because we didn't have to do anything. So anyone want to make a motion to approve?
So moved. I could actually-
Second,
Oh, okay, Faith, go ahead and second it.
yep, second.
Any further discussion?
Just trust, very impressed.
Oh, actually, it was on that particular point. Was this the motion for that minute, or just that point?
Yeah, the motion's there. We're ready for vote.
For the minutes, not just that issue. Not just the February meeting.
February, we just reported there was no meeting.
Okay,
So we don't have to vote on that.
that's where I was getting.
So now we're voting on the April.
Okay, so we're completely clear and we had a motion and we had a second. So do we have any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none. Yes. What? No.
Oh, I just said no.
Okay. In that case, I'll take a roll call vote, starting for a change with Pete,
Aye.
Faith,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
and me. So thank you all very much. Still haven't found my copy of the minutes.
Joe was a very patient way to do your report.
Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch. Managers monthly reports.
Okay, first, this is Joe McLaughlin speaking. I put the packet together and it's not printed properly. The first 2 pages, the information is there. I went to get on Munis today to get the information, and Munis was down. Then I went to go grab my reports to update them, and March was gone. I had to recreate all of March's financials.
From the computer.
My computer, I don't know what happened, but I ended up doing twice the work to get this done. Anyway, but I don't have a lot to report. There's been a lot going on, but we have, I mentioned in the last meeting that we were having a trust put in, and it was completed last week, and the lights were added to the truss. And we had a small training session here at the studio on Friday that went very well.
Can I comment that I'm amazed at what he managed to do with these lights that we couldn't with the others?
Mhm.
He was actually removing specific shadows and significantly improved the chroma key. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that was good. So,
It was very good, and he is available for questions and comments and any kind of help we need. So he has excellent customer service. During the month of April, we took a field trip to Pepperell. Steve Walker, myself, and Travis Falk, our consultant, and we checked out a new switcher, which we ended up liking very much. So we ordered one, and Steve and I had some time to work with it, and then we had a training with some videographers. So we will have the new switcher available for the town meeting on May 7th, this Saturday.
are you going to mention 5th graders?
Yep, I have that
Oh,
right here.
that's right. I'm not trying to jump out.
Yeah,
to make sure you didn't miss it.
The first time we used the switcher was for Are You Smarter Than our sixth graders? And it turned out okay. We really hadn't had enough training on it prior to using it, but we somehow figured it out, and it worked. So there were a few audio issues, but I don't think that was the switcher's fault. I don't think that the auditorium had the correct microphone level on the host. But anyway, so we did that with the new switcher. The new switcher is very easy to use. It's very portable. We're currently using mostly SDI cabling for the switcher rather than HDMI, which is more reliable. So that's going really well. Any questions on the switcher?
Oh, it depends.
Any switcher questions out there? We recycled our old equipment with the high school, through the high school fundraiser, and that went well. I've set up or ordered from B&H the necessary battery charging stations so that battery charging units so that we can have a battery charging station here in the studio, which will make things much easier when loaning out equipment. I'm going to I'm going to look into streaming a church service from another town. Haven't done that yet, but I'm going to be looking into it. It's just a matter of figuring out how to input that service into the Castus to air on channel 9. I feel like there's so many other things, but I've been pretty busy. We are preparing for town meeting, which includes the switcher. I mentioned last meeting that we're working with an ACE student. That's going very well. He's creating a video to explain the
Really?
program he's in. It's going. It's
No,
going.
but that's interesting challenge.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And he painted our pink cabinets over there. And he will be painting that table over there. So he's got some video work and some maintenance work, and he's keeping busy, and he's a delightful young man. He's working out really well. So
Good.
What's his name?
Brian Hebert. Yeah, he's doing a great job with us. Other than that, I think that's about it. We are trying to meet with an IT person who is going to be managing the town meeting, managing the needs of IT at the meeting,
Oh, our needs for IT.
our needs, but they're managing all the needs of the
Are they
IT.
going to be at the meeting, do we think?
I think so.
Really?
I think Casey is going to be there. So
Has Dan gone?
no, he's not, but he's not responding to anything. They have
I'm not understanding.
new rules with getting your IT work done. You have to log everything. And
So it goes
Dan
through a
was
trouble-
always
trouble
kind of,
ticket, yeah.
yeah, like a ticket system. And Dan was always available whenever for whatever you needed help with.
Right.
And I think he's falling under that ticket umbrella now, so he doesn't have a lot of free time, I don't think,
Oh,
to
so
to
he
meet
can't-
with people.
Can't schedule himself. I was just telling to get that. No, I mean, he's managed.
Only get 3.
Only get 3. So he's now managed by this consultant IT group? Is that what
Yes,
you're
he
saying?
he has been since they've come on, but it's getting, I'm making an assumption that he's now under the ticket umbrella
Yeah.
more so than ever before, because I know he's super busy. So,
But you haven't heard back from, it's a her, right?
right, Casey,
You
yeah.
can't- I can't tell sometimes.
mhm,
With names. We haven't heard around about midday-ish, we need to start doing something.
yeah,
Because I know we can do the town meeting just with a camera on the screen, but we can do a better job with some help from IT.
mhm.
So
Yeah, I'll keep following up with that, make sure.
just let me know. So.
Sure. Sure. Just as a side note, I have a lot of vacation left that I have to take before June, so I'll be, well, I shouldn't say a lot, a week and a half, so I'll be taking some days off here and there, and I'll clear it with my manager, Heather, and also with Steve, and make sure I'm not taking off during any important,
Leisure day.
any important, I won't take off any important days, so.
Thank you.
Oh, and let me just note, again, I'm sorry about the reports, they were cut off. But our final budget number, the ending balance, not a budget number, but our ending balance in April was 880, 913. And that's followed by the town financial report and then the program analysis. We added 3 new programs, local programs this month to Channel 9. So we're at 58% local produced. That number's inching up and
Good.
inching. Oh, and then I have the May calendar on here, but that was cut off. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna ask about that. This is 5 PM studio. Is that talking baseball?
Yeah, I can reset. Yeah, I think it is. I can send this calendar out to everyone.
Just as long as I know.
Yeah, that's gotta be.
Pete, the talking baseball episode with the nicknames. That was a lot of fun. I was surprised at how many I knew.
Good for you. Good for you. But Jason got stumped for the first time. Ta-da.
Ah, he was amazing, though.
Yeah, he's quite a bright guy.
Yeah.
And the last thing in the packet is just a copy of the invoice from the lighting service, which came to 12,737.82. And he quoted me for 12,737.83. So we get a penny off.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we saved 1 cent.
Just for clarification,
Mhm.
the trust was dealt with separately.
Separate.
So.
That was, well,
14
it's in this report. It was 12.
wasn't it?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was $1,450.
But he came in, assembled it all, hung all the lights,
And you say, better than a week.
Yeah.
plus it's way safer setup now.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yep, that's about it for me.
Thank you. Anyone have any further questions for our esteemed manager? Hearing none. The communications we already dealt with. Anyone have any input or discussion on future studio space?
I talked to Shot Lanes and they
Oh, yeah.
have rented the impact.
Are they really?
Yes. Maybe sales. the impact book.
Wow.
And don't do what I told you that.
Yeah.
They don't do any repairs at all, but Brownell is for this and everything.
I have an appointment with him on Wednesday.
Almost good, man.
Is that right?
Very formal. That's a long time ago.
So if I mention your name, will I get a discount or a penalty?
Oh, definitely.
So,
So who did you say is renting Chapter Lanes? I can't hear it.
I don't know. He didn't tell me the name of the company, but the entire place is being taken over.
Good.
There are vehicles going in and out, and there's a banner up in the front. I didn't read it.
But they're out. Let's talk about.
Okay. Thank you. That was a potential space.
What's happening with that boat marine place in front of the police station? Anything?
Somebody should say fire for that.
The town office.
Oh, I know, there's that empty gas station right by town hall as well.
That's the.
Yeah.
Somebody, is that thing foreclosed on that property?
Oh, I would have-
The one in front of the fire station?
oh, no, that's still, he wants $860,000 for
Oh, we've got just 880.
it.
I'm surprised it's still standing. Been in there a
And he
couple
won't
of
back
times.
down.
Won't
That's,
back down.
he's
Oh,
been
really?
talked to
Yeah.
and he, as they say in New York, he thinks who he is.
Ah,
Well, we had a chance to buy it for $100,000 from the fire station.
oh.
Well, they decided they didn't want to do that.
Um,
Is it? So we
Yeah.
just had a nice
Yeah.
entrance.
And what, there's something else they wanted to build in there. too.
Nice, right.
All of a sudden they had some other use, some of the building could use the space for.
Mm,
I thought,
There's-
at one point, Deb and I talked about, I thought it was much lower, we were gonna buy it and give it to Townsend Park,
mm.
not now.
Right.
What
Hey.
about where the water department is? There seems to be a lot of land there.
Well,
The water department,
Why are you laughing?
I thought you said the water.
Water across the street.
Oh, the water department. Okay. Yeah, we have had a number of discussions and including a person who has a property they would like to sell to us as a custom one for us. But right now, because of the way the structure of committees is the Lunenburg Municipal Town Building Assorted People's Committee, I don't know what it's called.
Municipal Building Design Committee.
Thank you, I'm glad somebody has.
I'm impressed.
They are looking at housing different departments in different places rather than cram everything into TC Passios.
Right.
And they didn't, they were supposed to meet today, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They're not going to either. So anything like that, they'd have to be part of the game. So a lot of things are being talked about either with us or around us, but that's where we are at the moment.
Hmm.
I noticed from the numbers you put out, Steve, when you were talking to Leominster, that for 4,500 square feet, it was about $1.5 million, which means for 300, it would be about 1 million, which is interesting, because that's about the money we have, except for one thing. Costs have gone up like 30% since
the-
they did that.
Yes, and mortgage rates are.
Wait 2 years. I think.
Didn't we check out like the Quonset hut idea? It seems like, Steve, I thought you did a presentation on that.
Steel structures, yes. It's still very expensive, and that's what
Yeah.
the Leominster did. They have a steel construction. It's the cheapest way of going and building.
Mhm.
Problem with is, as Steve says, it's when you're working with a studio, it's the soundproofing, the electrical needs, the lighting needs, the air conditioning needs.
Yeah.
When they do a steel structure, they build a steel structure, they give you 4 walls, a door and a window. Oh, the
Yeah.
window extra, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh, And you have to, and there's the land and the pad it has to go on. That was all.
oh yeah, it was all in there.
I'll be honest with you, we, as a committee, cannot afford to build a building. And
Right. I was just wondering if,
you could build
as
the
part
building,
of the-
but there would be
as
no,
part of the town solution,
except for this.
yeah, as part of the town solution, if we had like a metal building on that land where the water department is, that's what I was
There's
thinking.
enough room on that land, because if you look, it's been graded, the whole front is graded for drainage.
Yeah.
The back, the building is there, then there's parking for all their vehicles, and then there's an embankment behind the building.
Right.
I have
Oh,
no
okay.
clue where we could have a building, because there's not enough room to put another
Oh,
building. They,
okay.
when they put that in, if I remember correctly, there was a lot of concern about drainage. And so there's a lot of drainage stuff.
Yeah.
in.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Anything further on future studio space, or have we discussed sufficiently? The next.
Well, has there been any talk, whatever, of kicking us out of where we are now?
I have heard nothing. I have heard discussions, which amongst other things would be interesting, and that is, regardless, we had better maintain the buildings we've got.
Yeah.
So they are looking right now, I believe, at doing quite a lot of work to the Ritter building. Because that's going in front of the historical commission, that one. Because they want to change the front of it and things. But there has been some discussion about issues like the roof here. We have, right where Joe has chosen to put the battery charging station is where we have a hole in the water comes through, which is absolutely not Joe's fault. It's the only power outlet on that side of the roof. So it's the only place we can actually do it.
I'm not sure who told me, but someone outside of the committee, someone said that at one of the meetings, that whether it's FinCom or something, or I don't know which meeting, I can't remember, that because we were looking into building a building, we had solved our problems. And so
Really?
there are some people under the impression that we are going to take care of our problem all by ourselves.
That's unfortunate.
I don't think we've just been looking at lots of options, but someone reported to me, can't remember who, that, oh, well, I heard at this meeting that Pacc was all set, they were going to build their own building. So in your conversations, just make sure, because you talk to these, the various departments a lot more, make sure they understand that we've been looking at every option and
We're trying to be creative.
but
and
Yes.
with people.
we'll
But
work with
right now,
people.
we don't have a snowball's chance in auto.
Right. I mean, if the town wants to give us $1 million, sure, we can build a building,
Yeah, we're not running.
but we can't run it. That's the problem.
I mean, just the utilities from.
Well, and that's what I got from Mr. Pamarini is it's one thing to build it and, you can get some grants or whatever and special things, but then it's the year-to-year stuff. And then.
Yeah.
And and to hire people, it's very expensive.
That's what happened to Wallace Center.
Mhm.
Mm,
The Wallace,
Center in Fitchburg.
I
Oh,
saw
in
you walk-
Fitchburg.
Beautiful Lincoln and what do you call astronomy thing, gave it to the town
Oh, yeah.
and
Planetarium or
but
something.
he didn't give them the money to maintain
To
it.
run it,
And
right.
they didn't want to pay it, so.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh State bought it.
It's a huge issue.
Used to be.
Mm. The other thing that we still should pursue is the mobile unit.
Actually, we have input on that. If I may quote somebody, I've forgotten who the hell it was.
I gave a report on that.
That was, whoever it was said it was a big mistake. They wish they hadn't done it.
Of course.
When I
Oh.
talked to Mr. Pamarini in Leominster, he said if he had to do it over, he would get that piece of equipment right over there. No, what's the one we're looking at?
That's it.
Yeah,
PCP,
right there, that
right.
piece of equipment. And then you don't need the mobile truck. The mobile truck is really good if you're gonna do a sports activity and you're gonna have 4 or
Right.
5 people and you need a command center.
Yeah.
He said if he were to do it over again, he wouldn't do the truck.
Okay.
They are way bigger and they do way more
Oh, yeah.
sporting
They have a
and
lot more
multi-people
stuff, right.
events than what we do.
Yeah.
And that
Mhm.
case there is what he would do.
So there goes my drone. We killed that off a long time back, and then the mobile unit got killed off.
I've been in.
They have-
Yeah.
They have lots of insurance problems with it as well.
Oh, do they?
You are not allowed to fly it over people, things like that.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
That's why they don't use them. You know this new football league?
Yep.
They are flying drones over the field of play while it's going on. They also have 2 flying cameras that go over the top. Most people won't even attempt that. Everyone we've talked to, the places we've been to, they like the idea. I like the idea. You need a qualified pilot to run it. You have to register it. You have to insure it. By event is what we discovered. So if you're going to do a football match, you would have insurance for that event. So sadly, it's completely impractical because I've got 3 drones at home. They're fun, but not big enough to do this with. 3 baby ones.
I've been in the racing truck that the Red Sox used for an interview once.
Yeah,
It is really complicated.
oh, yeah.
There's all kinds.
What's a
of
command
things that-
center? It is a studio.
Yeah.
And it just so happens
It's
it's in a
basically
truck.
At least 5 people.
It's,
Yes,
it's, right, it's all of this stuff that we've got,
I work
plus
occasionally. out of
all the
truck.
cables, generators,
my,
power supplies,
studio
everything
work.
else. So sorry about
Not
that,
as
Faith,
nice
because
as
I was one of the people
bare
pushing
bones.
for it. but That's where we stand on that one.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm glad you asked.
Okay, thank you. Because I was just, yeah, I'm just trying to think what other alternatives we have.
I don't know, Ohio.
What?
Could move to Ohio.
Oh,
Kentucky's one of the-
Land's pretty cheap there. So, next meeting, June 6th,
anyone have a problem with that?
what time?
What time?
This time I vote for it.
Can we move back to 7? So, okay, can we have a discussion?
Well, I can't drive at night. I have
Right.
to make Deb come up here to the meeting. So
Yeah.
it's really like in the summer. I can come try myself. It's not-
Well, I
It's
could,
selfish,
I
but.
could relate backwards to that, and that is, in the summer, I can throw my discs out of doors because it's still light.
Don't you ever
So
let me go out?
could we?
Go out?
Now we're running into real trouble with this guy.
No.
Karen, why, are we okay doing that for the next 2, maybe 3, and then review it?
Well,
again?
once we hit July, I'm unavailable. Because I'll be out in front doing the concert.
So whether we do it 5 or 6 or 7, doesn't matter. Can't make it numbers.
No,
Well, we don't have to do it on Monday, you know.
A different day then?
Yeah,
Monday, Tuesdays and Wednesdays I perform.
You perform.
That happened last year.
Yeah.
Right,
you
Joe?
did.
It just
But
happened.
now you might be secretary.
Well, then someone
That's-
else would have. to
But
be
that's gonna be a
secretary.
problem. You only have 3 members. There's still have a quorum.
Yeah.
We've got 4 members.
I just want you to
don't
know.
look at me.
No, you're a member though, so. you
Yes,
can't
I
do
am
it.
a member. But
So-
if we can't do it by Zoom because I have to get the other knee done sometime this year. So, you may have to be looking to replace me too eventually, because if we can't continue to do Zoom.
July 15th is when we, at the moment, would no longer be able to do a Zoom. My expectation is the governor will just say, you got Zoom forever, just carry on. It's turned out to be useful.
Many committees like it because they get more
Right,
people who have families and can tune in
right.
and still take
Interact,
care
be
with
part
their
of it,
kids
right.
or do this or that or the other thing without having to physically be here.
The municipal
Yeah.
building only Zooms, they don't meet in person.
So what time did you want to meet on June 6th?
Who are you asking, me or Pete?
You're the chairperson. Right,
5 o'clock, damn it. And you can put the damn it after the 5 o'clock.
Recorded.
Well, this is a PG rated show.
Well, then I move to adjourn.
Second.
Any further? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
thank you.
Do you care to kill the recording? Thank